Hey, welcome to Thrones and Scones. It's your weekday morning podcast where we talk Game of Thrones. Oh gosh, people are sleeping next door.
I thought at first I thought you were going like WWE.
That's exactly what I was.
We're talking Thrones and Scones, brother.
It's Tony, it's Hans, and it's Jeremey.
Jeremy.
And today we're hitting Season 3, Episode 3, The Walk of Punishment. And peace, motherfucker.
I feel like we've only rotated through like 4 flavors of scone. Actually,
They're different places, so they're still different reviews. If we were just to stick to exclusive flavors, we would already be at like wood shavings and pencil erasers, and I'm not ready for that yet. Well, today, the Walk of Punishment. What are we thinking? I know we're thinking that I should have the wiki pulled up, but do I?
we'll never know.
I was just trying to look to see if I can find the wiki this time. Do they just write literally like 10 words now? Or are they just giving up on summaries?
They're always so short. This one's very short. All right, do we want the Macho Man to continue? Do we want something else? Order this wiki how you would like.
Give me that Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Oh yeah, Tyrion shoulders new responsibilities. Jon is taken to the fist of the first men. Daenerys meets with the slavers, and Jaime strikes a deal with his captors.
I love it.
Sorry. All right. I
Yeah.
was not around during the Macho Man, so...
No, you know what else? When I hear your voice, you say that, I also picture the Kool-Aid Man smashing in the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Westeros, yeah. Just breaking in. Did you guys see over the holiday time, the best Christmas song I've ever seen with the Kool-Aid Man and Lil Jon?
No.
It's a video that you almost don't need to see, but it's, basically the chorus, or leading into the chorus, the words are, Feliz Navidad, no eggnog, more Kool-Aid, oh yeah.
I usually watch those. I must have missed that one. Speaking of, Tony,
Wait, hold on, what do you mean by those? Like Lil Jon's Christmas songs?
No, I thought you were saying you do your...
It wasn't me.
Oh, it wasn't you.
No,
okay, that's why I didn't see it. I thought you were
a...
saying it was one of your like parody song things that you do for the radio show.
Your kids' bops.
Yeah. By the way, you got ripped off on the Kids Bop thing, I feel like. I was looking at the comments. I'm starting to think that the votes were not swaying your way, Tony.
Let me tell you what happened, if I may, real quick.
Yeah.
If you guys want to see this, my gosh, this is a deep dive. You can go to Facebook.com. Real929 is one of those stations I work for, and a coworker of mine and myself did a Kids Bop off, where we each made a Kids Bop song. We've done this a couple times before, and here's the thing: every time before, we've written our own songs, and then we've come together and we've just made these crappy videos at work and put them out. The night before, she texted me saying that she was making a video at home. And so she made this really cool video, and I did not have time to do that. And so then I just recorded my crappy video at work. And so I think more than my song losing, it was my video that lost.
Her video was very good with the she had some funny stuff going on in there. Yeah, it was an unfair fight, I think.
But
it's a cool idea. I like the Kids Bop off idea a lot. Although I will say I'm not sure how I feel about bopping off any kids. I don't know.
You'll come around.
I feel like that's something you could get in trouble for. Stay out of that.
You'll come around. But yes, as it pertains to Game of Thrones, would you guys like to talk Game of Thrones today? I don't know. What are you feeling?
I guess.
We can a little bit. Let's hop into Daenerys. Let's be honest, the last probably 10 episodes of Game of Thrones really quite boring for her, right? And we had the debacle of Karth. Is it Astapor or Ostapor? Astapor, right? At least things start to pick up pretty quickly in this episode. It's actually,
they do.
It wasn't I would say great television, but it wasn't bad. And you're starting to see her disdain, which is ironic for the whole slaves, with Jorah just like kind of like lingering behind her. But yeah, it was good. I thought that was a good part of the show. Her buying the Unsullied, her compassion for setting them free, kind of coming up with a plan despite having no money. How's she going to purchase this army?
It's my favorite version of Daenerys that we get for a long, long time, where she's at right now.
Yeah, I don't think it was the best part of the show, but I definitely wanted to bring it up because I feel like up until now, you could argue that you could almost like want to fast forward through a lot of her stuff because it's really not that interesting.
Yeah, I've actually this season I haven't minded Daenerys. It was really just Karth that got me. This season I've been pretty interested.
All it took was getting out of Karth. Jeremy, so to guess your favorite part, was it that you made a new best friend in this episode? Because I feel like you probably did.
I know exactly what you're gonna say. I have it like noted in my notes with huge stars by it to remember to say.
I don't know where you guys get off, okay? Thinking that I'm so single-minded, but maybe I did circle something in my notes.
Well, Arya leaves her companions, or leaves one of them behind in the form of Hot Pie, and he hands her a nice little direwolf cookie, and she says, "You're not coming with us." And he's like, "I'm gonna stay and bake bread. I'm not a Stark of Winterfell." And she goes, "Do you mean Winterfell?" And he goes, "Are you sure?"
You know what? Hot Pie, first and foremost, the guy's a master sconer. Is that a piece of bread or is that just a giant scone? Let's be honest.
Who's to say? I just love, it was almost, I mean, I think you put an M on the end of it, but other than that, it was word for word.
It's
it was
Winterfell.
perfect, yeah. Because the best thing too is when you correct Jeremy, he goes, "Is it?"
I feel like you're wrong.
Welcome to Thrones and Scones with Jeremy Hot Pie Sturgill and the rest.
Hey, I like bacon and I like scones. So I need to dedicate myself to some delicious.
Have you ever kicked a man in the balls to death?
To death.
All right. Well, that's good. Then I think you're pretty set. Also out in the forest. I'm sorry. I'll preface this a little better. Would you guys like to play a game?
Sure.
Yeah.
This game is called Do you know this useless bit of trivia Tony's about to give you to feel better about himself and the useless facts he keeps in his head? In the forest, we see this troop of Bolton men. They're carrying Jaime and Brienne, and we hear for I think the first time in the show what they're interpreting as songs from the books and stuff. From here to there and there to there, the bear, and the maiden fair, and they're walking along. Do you guys know who's singing that?
No, absolutely not.
Who in the group is singing that?
Correct. Not a named character, but a person in our actual world.
Oh, let's 20 questions, see if I can get to it.
Sure, I don't know anything about this guy really, so good luck.
Damn it. Okay.
Unless you ask, does he sing this one song, or does he sing for this one band, I'm not going to be able to answer your questions.
Okay. So it's a guy, obviously. So let's go with, you don't know much about him. Is he a singer?
He is. Good start.
Good start.
He's not a vegetable, a mineral, or an animal.
Pop star?
No. But he's had a pop hit or two.
So is he known for country?
No.
Is his age above 30?
Yes. Okay. I would assume. But not vastly so.
Okay. Getting a little extra on that one. I like that.
I'll just tell you who it is if it's all the same to you guys. It's Gary Lightbody from Snow Patrol.
That's probably fair for the listeners. Would have never got that.
Would have never got that, yeah.
So, yeah. If I just lay here, would you lie with
That's
me
the only...
and just forget the world?
So wait, you wouldn't consider that pop? I would consider that pop.
Yeah, that was a pop hit, but I wouldn't consider them a pop band.
Really? What would you consider them?
Like AC.
Alternative Christian?
I don't know any of their
Christian
other
rock?
songs other than that one.
Yeah, I don't either. But it's just like I only bring him up because down the road, my boy, my lover, my sun and stars, Ed Sheeran shows his face in this show and gets so much hate for it, and no one even talks about Gary Lightbody's cameo. So, people just love to hate on a ginger.
Yeah.
Anyway, What are some other notable things? I mean, I know my favorite part of this episode. I think we'll have a lot to say about it, so I kind of want to leave it till the end. But what are some other things? We meet both Edmure Tully and Brendan Blackfish in this episode.
Mm-hmm. We do.
And by the way, Edmure quickly made out to look like a fool.
Yeah.
That looks like a really hard shot.
Really hard.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And then the other dude acts like it's just no big deal.
No big deal.
That impossible. Even a very skilled archer, not making that shot the first try.
Yeah.
Like what do they think bow and arrows are just like that easy?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. If this actually was any sort of probably historical accurate, there's probably like 30 guys shooting arrows with maybe one, right? And the fact that they have one guy with like a long bow trying to pull that shot off, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, that is such bullshit.
But the
Set
look
him on
he
fire
gives his
and then
brother,
push him. Like,
Yeah.
when
why
the black,
would you risk ruining his funeral like that?
yeah,
Yeah, because that dude was just about on the limit of not being able to be within the distance of an arrow shot.
Yeah.
Then what do you do?
You find a new grandpa, I guess. Try to bury him. But tell me, I'll be honest. I don't like wasting space. And on my page of notes, I could have gone to the next page to take notes for this episode, but I had about a fifth of a page left, and I was like, I can fit it there, so I didn't write a lot.
oh, dude, I did the same thing. One of those little like sticky notes, and I just literally put all of them on one, just because I didn't want to find more paper to write on.
I do remember a particularly, and hold on, I'm just going to compose myself because it is an emotional scene. I think the quote is, "I'm going to fuck you into the dirt."
Oh, jeez.
with Theon Greyjoy freed from his captivity wherever he might have been, and released, and then nearly fucked into the dirt.
Yeah, there's kind of a pretty heavy rape vibe in this episode with him and then Brienne and Jaime being captured as well. So Theon about to be fucked in the dirt. Interesting scene. We get a little. I mean, I suppose I hate to kind of take a negative aspect with the Jugglies portion, but we do get a little we get some Theon butt.
We do get. How is that negative? Did you not like it?
No, I'm just saying in the context of rape.
Oh yeah, sure. That's
It
fair.
doesn't do much.
Yeah, it doesn't have quite as impact. I don't like putting that moniker on the Jugglies portion, but we get saved again.
Yes, by
this
our
mystery savior,
our knight in shining armor.
and I like how the attackers turn and just go, "Oh, you little shit!" Like, because you know why they're saying that.
Right. You got to respect too the point blank arrow to the face.
Oh. Yeah, the other thing is, like, can you imagine, like, being... so you run Theon down, and then your guy's like, I'm going to fuck you into the dirt. And you're like, whoa, why do we always have to rape other dudes when we catch them?
Yeah.
This is becoming a pattern. We should talk about this.
It's it's
Yeah,
pretty.
I just kind of wish the other guys in the group would have been like, "Whoa, I thought we were just
we were just going to beat him senseless.
I thought we were just going to beat him up a little bit."
To redeem the good, bad, and the Jugglies, we do get one of what I think is a gratuitous scene, but a very gracious one from Tyrion as he pays his squire back for saving his life.
Oh yeah, that's this part. Yeah, where the magic between the legs.
Yeah, what you could say the true Jugglies portion of this episode.
Yeah,
a little ridiculous.
I mean, I love the whole, and I don't even know if it's this one or the next one. I think it's this one. It is, where he comes back and he's like, "That's more than I pay you in a year." They didn't want it. and
What do you
he's
mean?
like, "We're going to need so many details."
Yeah, I
it's
think
fu-
they
it's
talk
funny.
about it for the next episode as well, don't they?
Yes, yeah.
I mean,
I
it's a
think Varys
continued
brings it up,
thing.
yeah.
I thought it was just gonna be a one-off joke, and then it just keeps going.
Yeah, it's funny. It's a little like for a show that's pretty serious in a lot of aspects. Obviously, they do throw jokes in quite a bit and stuff, but it's kind of like a pretty simple, like not great joke to keep hammering on. It's a little forced, but it is funny. And I do like when he says, "That's more than I pay you in a year," and then he's like, "You don't pay me," or someone says like, "You don't pay him."
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
"Oh, then that's much
more than I pay you." Oh. Well, unless anybody has any objections. Oh, just another quick note. Gilly has a boy.
Well, he does have a
And
boy.
that's going to mean some things down the road. It's the biggest part of this episode, I think. Jeremey and Brienne are locked away with some Bolton men here. Brienne, as you kind of alluded to, put in a rough position. And who comes to her save but Jeremey Lannister?
Yeah.
And we don't find it out till
Sapphire.
next episode, but it's he lies for her. He very much puts himself out on a limb, and not to make too much of a pun there, he pays for it.
Yeah, good segue.
Yeah.
Jeremey losing a hand, his sword hand, for that matter.
What did you guys expect this?
I did
The
not.
first time you were watching this, because it's so quick.
I remember vividly that I did not expect it at all, and was very shocked.
And disappointed, right? I mean, like, you hear about what great a swordsman he is, and now you're like, oh, fuck. Like, there goes all of that future kind of, like, enjoyment and battlement. I mean, because now you're kind of rooting for Jeremey in a way, especially after he saves Brienne, right, from being manhandled.
Yeah.
It's such a good scene though, like, and it means so much for his character. Like I like him in weird ways so far, but like he turns into, from this point on, one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yep.
So that brings me up, or brings that up for me. I got a little topic, little question for you guys for this episode, because I've been thinking a lot about Jeremey.
Sure.
Watching his
we all?
story.
Aren't we all?
Exactly. He's a excellent looking fella. Hard to get
Stump
out.
me.
Hard to get out of the mind. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But anyway, so as Jeremey has said, which was a perfect setup, we hear so much about how excellent of a fighter he is. We already had the talk about like which three people in all the kingdom could even maybe beat Jeremey. In the show, however, and granted it's going to be maybe a little bit different for the books, haven't read them, we never really get to see Jeremey fight to his full potential. When he fights Ned in the early in the show, Ned gets speared. We don't really get to see the fight finished. He fights, I'm sure there's other ones, but nothing major. And then he fights Brienne after he'd been in prison for a long time, gets his ass kicked, which again, is hard because Brienne is a good fighter. He's debilitated. So that's a hard one to assess. So we've never actually gotten to see him fight. The one thing we do know about the Lannisters, and especially Jeremey, is they are very good at, he's very good at using his words and manipulating. What are your thoughts on maybe like the idea that he's really not that good of a fighter? He's really just kind of put it into people's heads that he is. Because given his position, has he ever probably really needed to fight? And he stabbed the king in the back. Like everything we know about him is he's really never, gallantly won a fight. That we know. So what are your thoughts on that? It's a little abstract. It's a little out there. Like, obviously, other people think he's a good fighter and have said, he's always had a gift and all this stuff. But it's all the Lannisters mostly saying a lot of that stuff. And they, I could very much see them wanting to have people think so highly of them because they're pretty obsessed with themselves.
That's a very interesting point. I think it can only be made in the show. And only for now, because I can think of a couple instances that I won't necessarily bring up because I'm talking 4 seasons ahead. But Jeremey was definitely in the Battle of Pike, and he was highly sought after there. He does talk about the one thing to his cousin where he says he was squiring for Sir Barristan Selmy on the last minute notice with the Kingswood Outlaws. And then when somebody tried to attack him, that put an end to his squiring days. And so they allude to very specific instances of him being this badass, but he joined the Kingsguard very young. I think it would not be too far-fetched to say that this dude's got some natural talent, but has absolutely spread the word more so than, the word has been spread for him. Maybe he would not be as good. I will say he does go and, he says to Robb Stark, you and me, boy, let's finish this here. And you can't imagine him saying that if he had any sort of inkling he would lose. But
yeah, that's a really good point.
We're not trying to say he's trash. We're just trying to say maybe he's not as good as everyone thinks he is.
Yeah.
Well, so with regards, the one fight we do see with him and Ned, right? Sir Barristan tells Ned earlier, like, you essentially undervalue your own skills. But other than that, we don't really have an idea of how good Ned is, right?
It's true.
So then when they're fighting, for all we know, it could just be two haphazard sword fighters.
It's true. In the books, Ned's not really a great sword fighter.
Right.
He's fine.
He's fine, but he's not.
Yeah.
And if you think just in the show in general, when they're showing skilled sword fighting with Bronn and with the teacher for Arya.
Surreal.
Yeah, when they're
Sorry,
showing,
I have a scone.
yeah, when they're showing them, I mean, it's definitely much more intricate and kind of like enjoyable. And Brienne just makes him look bad. I mean, but again, I think we've made that comment already from the standpoint that he's fatigued, being captive for a year, malnourished, and all those things. And I think this is actually a really good topic because I think that is why the Lannister family is so good in this game, is because they are as good with their swords as they are with their tongue, right? I mean, they kill you multiple ways, and Jaime has shown that multiple times in the show of ways to get people to be lured into kind of this false sense of security. And when he kills people, he doesn't do it in a fancy way, right? A lot of times it's like choking them, kind of backstabbing that way. So
sure,
I don't know. It's good. It was a good topic. It's an interesting question.
Yeah, that's a very interesting. I think
I would have never
one better
thought
way,
of that.
except for me knowing the fact that Tywin hates that Jaime joined the Kingsguard. But maybe if Jaime was thinking this far ahead, like he gets this reputation as this incredible swordsman, and then he basically cements himself in what is a pretty cushy position. Like the fights he's going to have to get into are probably not against very skilled people. And if he ever gets into a full-scale battle, if someone's taking it to the king to where the Kingsguard needs to be involved like that, probably better than off chance that he's going to die. So it's an interesting theory.
Yeah, and I think I just thought it was an interesting talking point more than anything. I think if I had to answer it, I would probably say that he is, just on the sole basis that I don't think the show was written as complex as that. I think he's just probably a good fighter. But I just thought it was interesting because really all we see in the show is his conniving, kind of deceitful way of getting people to do things through his convincing and stuff, and we don't really see any real fights. It's all just backstory. So I just thought that was super interesting, and I never realized when I was thinking back on the show, I just always like, oh yeah, Jaime's like, and I almost like kind of don't know if this holds true still, but Jaime was and always has been one of my favorite characters in the show. But as I'm watching, like, he's so much more complex because the dude goes, he does some good things and then he just does some really shitty things. And it's like, it's not like he does some shitty things and then he just like turns for good and is good the whole time. This dude like toils with being just a total asshole again and again. And he's very, very complex, very well acted, super interesting character, but he's definitely not, the best or the most prideful character, or not prideful.
See, is he complex or is he just an asshole? Right? Because like that's the other thing that I think especially the show, the whole like every time you want to root for him, he does something that it just like is so like opposite of the way the character should be going and thinking. So it's like I'm talking about. I think Jaime is great. We've talked about that a lot, but I do feel like there's, especially early in the show, you don't like him at all. Like he isn't.
Yeah, right. He's an ass.
He's an ass.
So then the question is, which I think is very interesting, and I can't take credit for this because I actually saw it online. The question is why. So first of all, I ask, do you like Jaime Lannister right now?
Right now?
Yeah, his character.
Yes.
Like, do you like? Yeah, we all. I do too. We all do. So then the question that was posed is, why do you like Jaime Lannister? Because for the most part, he's been kind of a dick. And then the interesting answer was that is it almost kind of like the audience is kind of being, he's almost putting that kind of deception on the audience, right? Because he is very charismatic. He is like a good-looking dude. It just kind of there's something about him that just kind of makes you like him, but his actions aren't really most of the things he does is pretty terrible,
I think his appeal has a lot of that anti-hero kind of thing to it,
Exactly,
where he's not a bad person, but he's a dick of a good person.
Yeah.
And so, like, when it comes down to it, Jamie's the one who loves his brother. Jamie's the one who, we will start to figure out. We've already kind of heard it. We'll really get to hear it coming up in a bit. Who did the terrible things he did, the things that he was remembered and nicknamed for reasons that nobody will ever understand. And not for the glory of doing them, not for any sort of reward. He did them and he got shit on for doing them, but because they were the right thing to do. So I don't think that he has great, ethic standards. And I think that he's very tragic in the sense that if it weren't for Cersei, he would be a much better person.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, when push comes to shove, and he will be pushed several times, his true colors shine through, and they're really good.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, well, I think if there's one thing we absolutely do know at this point about Jamie, it's that the dude's gonna have to get used to the stranger. It's one of their gods, the stranger. So imagine
just really quick before we leave that setting, they're singing The Bear and the Maiden, and we talk about foreplay a lot in this episode.
It's been a while.
But yeah, let's just say giggle.
Yeah. It plays out quite well. It might even be that episode title. I think it is.
It may be.
It is.
Is it the next episode or the episode after?
No. It's a couple down the road.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I don't even.
No,
think
it's not even. It's not even 5.
I don't even think I've seen that episode yet.
It's toward the end of the season, but yes, I have heard opinions. I have spoke opinions. Now I just want to sit back and get into the second half of our show. Jeremy, tell me about your peach scone.
Peach scone from.
Where's it from?
Dorothy Lane Market, which is a really, really cool grocery store in the area. Okay, so it's chunks of peaches. So actually, like, if you were to take like little wedges and shove them there,
actually,
with a great no,
scone.
don't fuck this up for me.
I'm so
it's
sorry,
a vanilla
Jeremy.
icing glaze.
The thing is, I don't want you to talk without me being able to hear you, and I have to pee so bad. So I'm gonna go. We're pretty much at time anyway. We're going to wrap the episode here. Thank you guys for listening. You can always catch more. ThronesandScones.com if you want the links to every dang thing that we do. And we will be back tomorrow morning for season 3, episode 4. You down with GOT?
Yeah, you know me. I just want to apologize to the listeners wholeheartedly for Jeremy monopolizing our time sometimes with these scone reviews. It does get a bit ridiculous. We're trying to keep the show 50-50. We keep telling him, you gotta slow down, you gotta back off a little bit, but yeah, it's just he just doesn't listen.
I just don't listen.
So I'm really sorry about that.
Okay,
you have
so
no
bottom
care
of
for
my
the
heart.
common man.
Do you know, like, when how they make their intricate art in the snow with the horses in this episode? So they're marching toward the wall. Can you imagine being like, all right, guys, now let's do some paint by numbers. I want you to stand here, and I want you to fan out. No, not in a fan, like in this like swirl pattern, and then wait there while we bring you a horse carcass, and then the ass goes in the air, and then the head goes down.
They did do I want to just see where the rest of the horse bits are. Like, there's a pile off to the side with, like, crappily covered up horse bodies. They're like, don't look at this. Just pay attention to the cool spooky thing we did.
This is the cool part over here.
There's like, as everyone walks up to see the horses, there's like a White Walker, like a couple yards away behind a rock, like peeking over, like, and another one behind him. What do they think? Do they think it's good? Can you tell?
Mom, why are they giving us thumbs up over there from the rock? Thumbs up? Good. It's good.
Also,
sir?
why spend this time and this effort making this fun little art piece to spook the Night's Watch instead of just raising more undead horses?
And then
right?
you would
Like...
get where you want to get to quicker?
Yeah.
What is the rationale for the shapes and stuff? Do we know?
I'm sure there's some sort of I mean, I don't know, but I'm sure there's some sort of
Religious
magical
kind of thing.
element to it or something.
Okay.
No clue.
Do you think we covered enough with Daenerys and the whole dragon?
Yeah, we'll get to it.
The dragon?
Well, no, like how she says, I have a dragon.
Oh, you're right. This title or this episode's literally titled after. We didn't really focus on her at all.
Because that's the one thing I was gonna say is like, because I mean, that's a cliffhanger, right? You could have one of my dragons,
It's true.
and then we just kind of like, we don't even talk about that.
That's true. It's a good point. We can start the next episode with it.
I mean, we're talking about it right now.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, knowing how much she loves her dragons, how much she like searching in Karth, and how she would was livid, and how they've become her children. She is the Dragon Queen. It's got to come off surprising when she says that. I'm like, nope, you can have one, no big deal.
I knew. So even when she did that, like, even
You
Jenna,
think
even Jenna. Well, I can tell you, I didn't buy it because even Jenna, who's only seen these for the first time, only seen in and out of the episodes. When she said that, Jenna goes, "Oh well, she's not. She's got to be doing something because she would never give up her dragons. That makes no sense." So she didn't buy it for a second.
No. And I don't remember buying it either, but I don't think that I thought it would pay off in the way that it did.
No,
necessarily.
absolutely not.
No.
I figured she would get it back somehow, but I didn't realize she was gonna. We'll talk about
I
it.
can't wait to get into that. But
Yeah, it's good.